Howdy. We are reporting about the winter meetings that are happening in Nashville, Tennessee. It's where all the big baseball people, they get together. Joe Espada, he said some words at the meeting. Then Dana Brown came out and said some things about that as well. So we'll talk about that at the capital of country music on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we update you. Join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talkstros. Find the show at Locked On Astros. Your team every day. Brett is doing something with Athletically Declined tonight, but I wanted to go ahead and jump on and talk about the winter meetings that's happening in Nashville, Tennessee. And there's a lot that kind of happened in the last hour or so. Otherwise, it was kind of a boring day. A lot of Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto talk. But there's been some Astros reporting kind of coming on. Nothing big news, like anything that's kind of life-changing, but Dana Brown did talk, and Joe Espada had his first official solo press conference. So we'll talk about what was said in that. And guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go and subscribe to us and go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. And by the way, guys, come out to Seabrook Hooters for our Toys for Tots pageant on December 14th. Tickets are being sold for $10, and all proceeds will go for Toys for Tots. There will be 3 rounds, cocktail dresses, Christmas costumes. Of course, it'll be naughty or nice. And last but not least, it'll be bikini round, because each girl will have a bucket and they'll come around after the 3rd round to collect donations. That's a way for you to go ahead and put your vote in as well. So there'll also be some small games and giveaways as well. So you might get yourself a free lunch or dinner with us. So tables are being sold now. Bar seats are also available. Please come join us at this special events while we raise money for Toys for Tots and enjoy a great show from your Hooters girls here at Seabrook. If you have any questions, please call us at 281-474-4629. Can't wait to see you there. So guys, let's go ahead and talk about what we need to talk about. And that is the winter meetings. So far, nothing really big has happened. You know why? Because everybody's waiting for Shohei Ohtani. I think everybody's waiting for him, because once he decides where he wants to go, that's when all the dominoes are going to start falling. And unfortunately, it sounds like he may not even make the decision till after the winter meetings, because it's a big decision, especially with all the money, everything. It goes beyond baseball. It goes beyond money. It goes beyond marketing. There's just so much that goes into Shohei Ohtani. And there are reports that Shohei Ohtani may return back to Anaheim, because he has more control there. He has more autonomy there. And even Ron Washington said that somebody asked him about Shohei Ohtani. He said, well, I can't let anything out yet. So I don't know if he's just maybe just messing with people and just saying that, just throwing some whatever at people. But it's just kind of a weird situation that there's a chance that Shohei Ohtani could be going back to Anaheim. But there's a lot of money that's being thrown around with him. And I know that a lot of people are saying, well, Brett was talking about yesterday, well, you have the new Astros and Rockets television app. So if you go ahead and sign Ohtani, half of that money will, with all the people in Japan that watch Ohtani pitch or play, then you can go ahead and make a lot of that money, all the jerseys that would sell. Yes, but I just don't think that I don't think that Jim Crane just has that money to just go out there and spend as much as it takes. Bob Nightingale tonight said that he feels like it's going to take between probably about $550 million to go ahead and sign Ohtani, and he feels like it's going to be the Dodgers. He's probably going to stay on the West Coast. I know that Bryce and the Rangers fans are thinking that there's a chance that he may go to the Rangers, but he's going to stay on the West Coast. I think I know the Braves have had some discussions as well, but I think he feels like he's comfortable over there. And if he goes to the Dodgers, he'll be dealing with the same doctors, the same medical staff, and he'll be comfortable with that area. So I think that has a lot to do with it. And Juan Soto, there's kind of some apprehension about him actually going to be traded before the trade deadline, before the end of the winter meetings as well. But keep in mind, the Padres have to trade him because he's due to make about $31 million this year. And keep in mind that Padres already took out a loan to pay their salaries from last year. So what the Padres are trying to do is try to not have to take out another loan to pay for Juan Soto's contract. So I think that they're trying to get themselves out of a hole while trying to continue winning. And so I think the best way for them to do that is to go ahead and trade Juan Soto. And I know that there's been a lot of discussion with the Yankees, and the Padres are wanting a whole bunch of stuff. Michael Keane plus their top pitching prospect plus 4 other prospects. And so the Yankees are like, yeah, we want Juan Soto, but that's a little bit a lot. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but I think that a lot of it has to do with what's going on with Shohei Ohtani. And I know that everybody's just kind of waiting for that. So we'll see what happens. And I know that also you have Yamato, who's waiting as well. And he's actually, when the offseason started, a lot of people thought that he would be making about $200 million. I think a lot of people are thinking he's going to be making about 230 to 250 million now, maybe closer to 300 million, because he's 25 years old, coming from Japan. He's a top of the rotation pitcher right now, meaning he's likely out of the Astros price range. He's going to start meeting with MLB teams after the winter meetings as well. So don't expect a lot of movement at this winter meetings. But Dana Brown says that he's been all systems go. Things are in motion. Does that mean anything's close? No, not really, but we'll talk about that in a second. We'll also hear what Joe Espada had to say. And but the Astros are going to be making something happen. It may not be anything big. And Dana Brown did address Alex Bregman. So we'll talk about that in a second. I know we come to sports to escape some of the crazy realities of real life, but can we just talk for a minute about preparing for tough situations? Whether or not you're traveling, doing extended traveling, like you're going on a cruise or something, or maybe you're just going somewhere in the United States and maybe your insurance doesn't cover you once you leave the state of Texas or wherever you live. Well, that's why you have the Jace case. The Jace case is will give you that medicine you need in case you come across a situation where you find yourself you need this type of medicine. So you can even get ED generics for Cialis or Viagra if you need it. So Jace Medical has the Jace case. The Jace case is a pack of 5 different antibiotics to treat a long list of bacterial illnesses, including UTIs, respiratory infections, sinusitis, and skin infections, among others. The stuff can happen to any of us. So visit jacemedical.com and complete your physical encounter, and a board-certified physician will review it, and a licensed pharmacy will dispense your medication at a fraction of the regular cost. It's never been more important than today. Go to jacemedical.com and use the offer code LOCKEDON to get $20 off your order. All right, so let's go ahead and discuss what Joe Espada had to say. And then we'll talk about a little bit more about what Dana Brown had to say. So Joe Espada, nothing crazy there. I guess we can go ahead and put our first Yo Joe. I think we're going to have some sound effects coming up pretty soon. But Joe Espada went up there and talked a little bit. He went on MLB Network first, and then he went in front of all the reporters. And he came up and said that basically that he said that he has not named the everyday center fielder. He said it's going to be in between Jake Myers and Chas McCormick. He really sees that Mauricio Dubon is kind of an everyday super utility guy. So, but he'll get some run in center field as well, but they'll have them battle it out in spring training. So here we are. We have Chas McCormick thinking, all right, this is going to be my time. I'm going to go and get my chance to shine. Dusty Baker's not here. I can finally be the big boy. And then here's Joe Espada saying, well, not so fast, Chas. You're going to have to earn it. And that's actually a good thing. You don't, with somebody like Chas McCormick, who's had to kind of earn it and maybe has not really gotten to playing time you want it. Maybe you want to challenge him. You want to make him earn it, so to speak. And so by doing that is saying, yeah, we're going to have a battle in spring training for the center field position. I think Jake Myers can do it. I think Chas McCormick can do it. And so we'll see. But if you look at Myers, he has a career 87 OPS plus, and McCormick has a career 117 OPS plus. You would hope that the better player would triumph in there. And you would think that maybe Dana Brown is like, you know what? I want Chas McCormick to play, so let me try to trade Jake Myers. That way I can finally get Chas McCormick to play more, because I wanted Chas McCormick to play all last season. I want him to be the everyday guy. Now I have Joe Espada saying, oh, it's going to be a battle. But you want a battle. You don't want Chas McCormick coming in thinking that he doesn't have to fight for anything. And so you want him to come in hungry and ready to go to war with Jake Myers. But it sounds like Mauricio Dubon is going to be a super utility guy. He also said that Yainer Diaz, this was no breaking news, but he's also said that he's been in communication with him basically every week on how to prepare for being an everyday catcher. Well, not every day, but he's going to get his off days. But and as spring training draws closer, they'll increase the communication and in preparation for Diaz's first season as the primary catcher. So that's really good that Espada is taking this role, because he's probably done this in the past with maybe Martin Maldonado as the bench coach, and now he's kind of taking on this role as well with Yainer Diaz, because Yainer Diaz, he played a lot last year, not as much as we probably might have wanted, but this is his chance to shine this year. And so a lot of people criticized him and maybe in the Astros front office for not having a lot of game prep. So that's something he's definitely going to be working on this offseason and becoming, I think that he has a great arm. He's becoming a great receiver. So I just think that his game planning is something that he needs to work on. And I think even if the Astros bring Martin Maldonado back or Tucker Barnhart, whoever the Astros go out and get, I think that Yainer Diaz is going to be the primary guy. And by the way, we'll talk about what Dana Brown had to say about that in a second. But he also talked about what it's like being one of the 6 Latino managers heading into 2024. He said, I think it's exciting, and I think there'll be more to come. And so I think there are, especially with the large amount of players out there that are mostly Spanish speaking, that it does help to have a manager who speaks Spanish. But that's not the reason why. I think that we see so many great players who have all these great ideas and they go on to become managers. So Joe Espada, I think, is what the Astros need. And he went on to MLB Network and they were talking about what's the biggest thing about your role as bench coach that will help you transition into being the manager? And he said, the biggest thing I have is the connection to the players. That's not going to change now that I'm the manager. It's about winning. I know how to push and when to push. Those relationships will make it easier for me to transition into the job. I have an incredible group of coaches, some that have been with us for 7-8 years. I know one of my former ex principals, he used to say, you need to make the students fans of you. If the students are fans of you, then they will do what you want them to do. And I don't know if the students are fans of me, but they respect me and they do what they're supposed to do. So I think that Joe Espada, he has a lot of fans in that clubhouse, and those players will do what they're supposed to do. And it's about winning. And I think everybody in that clubhouse, and he was asked, what's the toughest thing? He says, the biggest thing is not letting complacency come into the clubhouse. It's easy to think, oh yeah, we're the reigning World Series champion as of looking back last season, but we know that we're a good team. So you've got to be humble. You got to know that you can lose a game. So you got to go out there hungry every game. Basically, you got to continue to push ourselves and just go out there. And he said that there are some spots to fill, but the core is still here. So that's basically all that I caught that Joe Espada said. So some good stuff from him, and I'm excited to see what Joe Espada does as a manager. And so some stuff from Dana Brown. Dana Brown said a lot of stuff. We'll talk about Bregman in the next segment, but he did say that the Astros would get a fourth option year on Forrest Whitley. Whitley is healthy and throwing. I saw a video of him throwing 98 miles per hour. So he's going to report to spring training as a reliever. This is per Dana Brown. So they're not looking at Forrest Whitley as a starter anymore. They're looking at him as a reliever. So he could go into that Hector Neris role, something like that. So I think that that's what they're looking at. It's because Dana Brown also said that there are a lot of the relief market is great. It's really good. There's a lot of interesting options out there, but it's also very expensive. So it has to make sense for us to go out and put some money into some of these players. So that's something that he has to take in consideration. So I think you might see them maybe go a little bit more within to kind of fill some of these needs. So I think that's what you're going to see. But we'll talk a little bit more about what Dana Brown had to say, including what his thoughts were about the whole Alex Bregman trade rumors and what are the Astros needs and what's going on as day one of the winter meetings comes to a close. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. All right, so let's take a look at what Dana Brown continued to say. So a lot of people said that there's a lot of reports that Alex Bregman could be traded, that the Astros would be looking at focusing more on Altuve, or maybe not trading him, but there's just a lot of reports out there that the Astros could trade Alex Bregman to maybe free up some money or something like that. But Dana Brown was like, I don't know where this came from. I don't know where this idea came from at all. He said, I think most teams understand that we are not moving Bregman. We are not entertaining trading Bregman at all. Bregman has had a great career here. We are not interested in trading him. He knows that. I'm not worried about the articles and the rumors. I'm not sure where they come from. You can't replace that type of defense, that type of bat. So we're not interested in that at all. We are trying to win here. That's basically what I've been saying. Like, why are you going to trade somebody if you're trying to win in 2024? A lot of the betting websites have the Astros, including FanDuel, have the Astros as favorites of going to the World Series again. So it's like, why would you trade somebody like Alex Bregman? Now, can the Astros go and re-sign him? No, especially if he's seeking a $300 million deal. I don't know if the Astros are going to go past 6 years because history says they will not. So, but we have Dana Brown saying right here, his own words. Granted, he did come out and say that he was going to do his best to make Alex Bregman a lifetime Astro, make him retire here. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. But we'll see what happens at the end of the day. But I think that the fact that he said he's not going to be traded, that means a lot, especially to Alex Bregman, because he's probably like, okay, where's all this talk coming from? But apparently him and Dana Brown have been having a lot of conversations, and he's like, hey, Bregs, we're not trading you. I don't know where all this crap is coming from, but it's not coming from me. You're not going anywhere. We need you in Houston. We want to win the World Series, and we can't do it without our all-star third baseman. So you're here for us, buddy. So moving on from Bregman, he was asked, well, what is your focus on at the winter meetings? And he says the focus remains on relief pitching and catching. And I'm not interested in overpaying in the relief markets. A lot of people are on Twitter or X are saying basically, well, that's a stab at the Rafael Montero signing last year. You gave him way too much money for way too many years. But I think that's just that's more of a kind of telling sign about the market, what a lot of these relievers are asking for, namely Hector Neris. You know that he likes it here. You know that he got his first World Series here. So you would think that if there was somewhat close in terms of money, that Hector Neris would return to Houston. But unfortunately, it's not there. So we'll see what happens from here. But what he's not saying is they're going after a starting pitcher. So as of this moment, they are not going after for this third starter that we've heard in the past rumored. So we'll see what happens there. But so where are they right now? They're in the full swing of things. The meetings are taking place throughout the day. I'm excited about trying to find a backup catcher and bullpen arm. There's not a lot of depth on the catcher market, so I would like to jump out in front. So basically what Dana Brown is saying is there's not a lot of catchers out there. So we want to identify our number one guy, our numero uno guy, and make him our free agent guy that we're going to target. Is that Tucker Barnhart? Is that bringing back Martin Maldonado? Is that somebody else? We don't know, but the Astros have clearly identified somebody, and they're going to probably go after him. And so Dana Brown was asked, would you say you're close on anything? Dana Brown said, I would say that the talks are heating up, but I'm not sure if I would say anything is close. Close to me means that you are exchanging information and medical stuff. I would say things that are heating up now. So maybe in the next few days, next week, we can see some movement. I don't think that Tucker Barnhart is waiting for Shohei Ohtani to sign. I don't think that the Astros are waiting for where Shohei Ohtani signs. But who knows what's going on with this. So maybe Tucker Barnhart or one of the other catchers is looking to maybe get a starting gig. But if you look at what Barnhart's done in the past, 4 or 5 years, he's not really everyday type of guy. So Yainer Diaz is the everyday guy. So if Tucker Barnhart or somebody else wants to come and possibly win a World Series, then Astros are a good team to go for. You don't have to be the everyday guy. You can just be a kind of a mentor off the bench with Yainer Diaz, kind of help him out. And that's why a lot of people are kind of pushing for Martin Maldonado to come back, just because he could do that. But could he accept the bench role could he accept a lower salary and reduce playing time? So I think that the reason why Martin Maldonado is not back is because he wants more playing time, and the Astros have already committed to Yainer Diaz at this point, and I'm all aboard with that. So we know that Dana Brown is looking at relievers, backup catcher. We'll see what else happens, but don't expect any blockbuster deals or anything. Don't expect Dylan Cease, Shohei Ohtani, anything big as of right now. Maybe something else makes sense a little bit later on. But the Rangers are also kind of, with their TV deal, they're kind of sitting on their hands as well because they're waiting to see how much money they have. And I know Bryce on the Locked On Rangers podcast was talking about, well, maybe that TV deal will prevent them from re-signing Jordan Montgomery. I hope Jordan Montgomery goes somewhere else other than Arlington because he was a pain in the butt for the Astros. So I would love to see him in Astros orange, but I don't know if that's going to happen. And with what Dana Brown said, I just don't see them trading any of their major league talent. Framber Valdez, Jose Urquidy, I can see them possibly trading, but definitely not Kyle Tucker. So Yankees fans, you can go and stop asking for him. I just don't see that happening. So I know that Baseball Prospectus came out with their top 10. Zach DeZenzo is the number 1. Bryce Matthews is number 2. Will Wagner is number 3. Luis Baez is number 4. Jacob Melton is number 5. Spencer Arrighetti is number 6. Joey Loperfido is number 7. Jake Bloss is number 8. Warner Luciano is number 9. And then Kennedy Corona is number 10. So Kennedy Corona is somebody the Astros had to protect in the Rule 5 draft, or else they were going to lose him. He is a great talent. So I think that we could see him as soon as maybe 2025 or maybe even sooner, depends on how fast he develops. But I just think that it really depends on what happens in center field. Does Jake Marisnick, does Jake Myers get traded? Does Chas McCormick finally take over? If needed, does Pedro Leon finally gets his chance to go to the big leagues? So there's a lot of ifs throughout everything. So, by the way, AJ Hinch, he was offered he was extended today as the Tigers manager. So they're not saying how long he's extended, but he is now going to be a Tigers manager for a little bit longer. So I don't know if that means that he interviewed with the Astros and then the Tigers were like, yeah, we'd like to keep you around. So the Hall of Fame voting, they had a small committee of, I believe it was like 20 people, but they went ahead and voted Jim Leyland into the Hall of Fame. So he's the only one. The one person that missed out barely was Lou Piniella. So, but Jim Leyland would be the manager going to the Hall of Fame. And one person that's on this list that Astros fans do not like is Joe West. So Joe West received less than 5 votes. So unfortunately for him, it doesn't look like he's getting to the Hall of Fame this year. But other than that, there's just a lot of talk right now. We don't know where Shohei Ohtani is going. We don't know where Juan Soto is going. There's talk that he could be going to the Blue Jays. So at this point, we're just kind of in wait and see mode. Astros fans, that's what we're going to be at for right now. Until we decide to go above the luxury tax threshold, we're just going to kind of have to wait for a little bit and see what Dana Brown can do for us. So that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. We'll be back tomorrow with another show. And don't forget to check out Locked On's new first ever national sports streaming channel, 24/7 YouTube. It's called Locked On Sports Today. It's here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. And don't forget, go check out the Hooters Seabrook Toys for Tots pageant on December 14th. And I think Brett's going to be there. I may be there. So go support them, support a good cause, and have a great time. So that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. Find Brett at H-Town Wheelhouse. And you can find us back tomorrow talking about whatever goes on in day 2 of the winter meetings. Go Astros.